How would you categorize this latest COVID wave we're seeing? Where does it stand now?
So I think we haven't seen the crest yet. It is more than we thought we would be seeing, but it is still very, small compared to where we were 1 year ago and where we were during the winter. So I think, it's not like we have to get things out of our mind and not think about COVID anymore, nor do we have to live in fear. It's kind of somewhere in between, meaning that we can go out, but do aware that there are risks depending on who you are and what your immune status is.
Here in the Bay Area, are deaths also going up?
Deaths are going up, but only very in a small way. I would say it's easier to look at national deaths, and I'll give you an example. So we're seeing about 600 deaths a week nationally, and that's down from about 2,000 deaths a day at the peak of the COVID pandemic. And it's about, I would say about 10% of the deaths over the winter surge right now. So just to give you some perspective. So hospitalizations up, tons of cases in the community, but luckily deaths still significant, but not as high as they used to be.
Yeah, it's good perspective. Thank you. I wanted to talk more about the new BA.2.86 variant. How does it vary from other strains we've seen?
Yeah, so all this year we've been seeing XBB flavors, which are kind of Omicron variants. And then this BA.2.86, also known as Parola, raised a lot of eyebrows because from one XBB to another, it's only about 2 mutations. But from XBB to BA.2.86, it's about 30 mutations. And that's just like going from Omicron, going to Omicron from Delta. So that's why people are worried. But most recently, actually, over the last few days, people have been doing laboratory studies, and it found that if you get vaccinated with a current booster or with people who got infected recently, that seems to quell BA.2.86. So in other words, it seems like a paper tiger is something to be, mindful of, but not something to be too scared about.
Interesting. Now, speaking of strains, which one would you say is the most dominant COVID variant in the Bay Area right now?
So right now, the most dominant by far is something called EQ5, and that's also called Eris. It's again a flavor of Omicron, and it's very closely resembling what the new vaccine is going to look like. So that's good news for all of us, meaning that the vaccine that will be available within the next week or two would be a close match to what's going around and what we anticipate will be around by the winter surge.
As you know, Peter, there continues to be a lot of COVID fatigue as people question whether or not they need their booster. For those who are considered fully vaccinated, when do you advise is the best time to get reboosted?
Yeah, so that's a complicated question. And because we haven't seen a crest yet, I'm probably going to advise people who are older than 65 and immune compromised to get it if they haven't gotten one in 6 months as soon as it's available. I think for everybody else, if you get it by Halloween, it will give you enough ammunition to give you some protection before an anticipated, even larger increase over the winter.
Okay, good to know. What can you tell us about the new COVID boosters pending FDA approval?
Yeah, so the CDC is going to meet on the 12th, and like literally the next day or in 2 days, we should probably have it available in drugstores and in places that people normally get their vaccines. It's one strain, it's one time a year. The whole idea is to make this very simplified instead of saying, oh, I have 5 shots or 4 shots. Is it 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? Let's just try to prepare the house for the storm once a year with the flu shot. You can get it on the same day. And that's the way I hope we'll be on moving forward.
And we're going to pull up our ABC7 COVID tracker. It shows in late August, since the data is a bit backlogged, there were 374 weekly COVID cases on average in the Bay Area. Current levels appear to be lower than the peak we saw in March. Should we expect to see periodic waves like this for the foreseeable future? Do you ever see that changing?
That's kind of an interesting question. I think for now, it seems like this is the 4th consecutive summer we've had a COVID increase, and then we have a larger one in the winter. It may be that we're going to see this pattern for the next few years of a small bump in the summer and a bigger bump in the winter. And that's because, particularly since climate change is causing a lot of people to go indoors during hot periods in the summer, it's kind of like a reverse winter, and that people coming together and declining immunity, which lasts about 6 months, all contributes to this like small bump in the summer and a bigger bump in the winter, together with influenza and other respiratory viruses.
Okay, interesting. Good to know.